Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob, and today we're gonna be continuing the narration for the Stultifera Navis side story in Arknights. And in today's episode, we're gonna be progressing through the Lost Flagship. Sadly, not to the end of it because there is a lot to just cover in just today's episode. But significant progress has been made through it, and it's gonna be one long recording once again. First off, let me just say that yes. First off, thank you, Salty, for the comment. Second off, yes, from here on onward, I will definitely be including all of the battle stages into the narration itself, including descriptions for stuff like the bosses and some other things. And yes, as I have also noticed myself, when you get to SN-7, it becomes dicey. Let's put it this way. This was an interesting stage to figure out, but yeah, we will be including those from here on onwards. And as you might also tell, the music in the background today is literally from that same stage. But more importantly, time for the recap for people who want to skip ahead. Hit that timestamp in the comment section on my very own comment. And let's begin. So, on the previous episode, we started... Well, we didn't start from where we literally left off. We jumped over back to Rhode Island for just one brief moment. And in that moment, we just saw a Blemishine and a Granny talking to each other, but more importantly, it was a way to introduce a new character to the story. And the character in question is the Lost Knight. As Granny picks up a book from Blemishine's workshop, she starts reading paragraphs about the last night party. And then we jump back as we pretty much learn the person in silver armor who appeared before the group out of the ocean all of a sudden, right at the end of the part before this one, is none other than a Silver Lance Pegasus, one from decades ago, that apparently went home to his homeland, Iberia, and has since then pursued to do some very fancy Don Quixote shit. Because he kept fighting the windmills, aka he kept fighting the waves. The ocean is his enemy, essentially. But he hasn't appeared before our companions to fight them specifically. He has appeared to fight the lighthouse because in his mind, he wants to fight a wave, and the lighthouse in front of him appears as one such. Obviously, he isn't a human anymore, but has been turned into a seaborn himself, but still retains some cognitive functions as it appears. He can still talk, he still realizes what he's doing even if it's easy. But fighting ensues. Jordy and Irene finally manage to open the door to enter the lighthouse, and the two of them proceed to go in, Irene acting as Jordy's bodyguard during it. As the two of them are ascending the lighthouse to a console to turn it on, the rest of the party proceeds to stay outside and fight the Sea Terrors, the Brand, and the Knight that has appeared. As the fighting keeps going on, and as some Sea Terrors apparently are also inside, starting to wriggle to life, and the Brand starts spreading towards the top of the tower, the party manages to, or rather Jordy manages to turn on the tower once again, and Irene proceeds to go even further up to flip a switch essentially, so that they can read where the coordinates of the ship are, or rather where the ship is. Meanwhile, outside, when the tower turns suddenly on, the knight has realized that he is not fighting a wave, but a building, and has decided to leave everybody alone and go his own way apparently. But before he leaves, he does other two different names. One being just the name of his very magnificent looking seahorsey, the other one being Ishar Mla. But we proceed into the lighthouse as they have finally figured out the coordinates of the ship. And apparently the ship has been sending signals continuously for the oh so many decades it has been out there. But the party once again decides to split up into two teams. A smaller team formed of the Inquisitor Dario and Jordi, aka Lumen, will be staying behind. Lumen asking himself that he wants to stay there because he feels he would have much more purpose staying in the lighthouse because of his family's connection to it and everything. While the rest of the party, being Irene, Spectre, Gladia, and Skadi, will head out to the Stultifera. Meanwhile, on land in Gran Faro, we see that the cultists are definitely being pushed back, including the Sea Terrors. Carmen and kal'tsit are doing their thing, but they still cannot find a moment to open a path towards the penal battalion that is still outside of the city and cannot progress in, because the city is itself being pretty much surrounded by the brand itself. Meanwhile, in another portion of the city, Tiago has found an agreement with the cultists themselves, pretty much that he's gonna help them out from here on onwards, because if there's anything that Tiago hates more than the cultists and the Sea Terrors, it is the Inquisition itself. So for him, it's kind of a natural thing to do. Elysium appears before the party as well, and we cut away. Meanwhile, in front of Carmen and kal'tsit, Frost appears from the bad house, and she offers that she's gonna distract the Sea Terrors to help them out, so that the band also does stuff, because they are feeling a bit restless, let's put it that way. Frost begins to play a melody on her guitar, and the Sea Terrors in turn are being charmed, mesmerized, being drawn away. They're pretty much just paying attention to her at that point, which does help out kal'tsit and Carmen quite a lot. But meanwhile, the party is reaching the Stultifera. The one thing that the party doesn't know yet is that Amaya and Ulpianus have already landed on board of the ship and have proceeded into the depths of it. Before they reach, or rather jump up onto the ship, as they are still on approach, Spectre, Skadi, and Gladia have a little moment between themselves. Spectre, who appears to be more and more waking up the longer they are out on sea, and then they proceed to board. They both board apparently in a very splendid fashion, as they all proceed to jump up onto the deck. Spectre herself carrying, as she calls her, the cute little bird, Irene. And from here on out, they start encountering definitely seaborn, but very beefy crocodile-looking seaborns apparently. As one appears before them that has like very... He looks definitely more distinct than anything else, or rather it looks more distinct than anything else, wearing white, like, tattered clothes and rags over itself. They engage it, but it runs away, not attacking them, surprisingly. Meanwhile, Gladia opens up her own path into the ship by using her lance to apparently slice open the deck itself and go in, while the other three, being Spectre, Skadi, and Irene, head into the ship and reach something that can only be literally only be described as a giant throne room. But on the way there, they do also notice that the ship is being very well maintained and is in very pristine and very clean condition. So something is definitely up with the ship. They do reach that giant golden throne room with a mirror very well placed into the middle of it. A broken mirror. But they encounter more seaborn in there. And it appears that Spectre has finally woken up completely, as more and more of her old memories are seeping in, and her old personality starts to be very ever-present now. But yeah, that is pretty much where we left off. So let's proceed with today's narration, starting off from this scene-only section called the Lower Hall. Once again, this has its own log entry. We will go over the log entry once we're done with the scene, because that one recaps ever so slightly what has happened during the scene itself. And also, as a reminder, if I ever at any moment sound a bit distracted in between the scenes, I do need to keep looking at the other monitor to see what is next, considering, as you might notice once more, this is a mess. This entire top section has opened up after just clicking on, like, I think it was either this scene or this scene, I can't really remember anymore, but just this giant section up here opened up. But yeah, let's proceed to the Lower Hall. It says here, his eyes widened with anger, his hand not letting go of the helm for decades. So, let's begin.
The further in we go, the more sea terrors there are. It's getting dangerous. Maestro, how do I become like them? Seaborn? It's the same one we saw on the deck. The hunter's attack didn't do any damage. How will it come at me? With its limbs? Its fangs? My hand cannon. I need to create distance. Wait a second. What's that on your belt? Why would you... Could you be... What strength? I barely managed to block it. Do you have something to say, monster? I can't come down here. I won't. I am an Inquisitor of Iberia.
Meanwhile, back in the lighthouse, it has taken too long to burn away the Narration brand. The situation's not looking good. Sea terror's numerous slithering sounds.
I can see what's going on down there from here. How many hours have passed? How much longer can he hang on? If I... No, don't think about it, Jordy. Focus. The Inquisition. Hurry.
Back on the ship.
Is that all? Listen to your friends wail. The flower of Salviento at least had its beauty, but what about you? As my first dance lesson after waking up, I must say you're underwhelming. It's getting away. I'll go after it. You go find that little Iberian bird. How are you feeling? Better than ever. My memories are tumbling down like a waterfall from the heavens. It'll take a while for the full picture to emerge, though. And some of my more recent memories are rather embarrassing. I'll go. You find it. Your mind is still unstable. Oh? Trying to steal my prey? I'll try to escape to the sea.
It'll.
Of course it will. But it wasn't running just because it couldn't win. What did it find? We don't have time. I'll never get used to hand cannons. Hey, where are you? Huh? The Abyssal Hunters? Hello, Irene. I see you brought us more prey. Did you just call me Irene? Have you regained your memories? Not entirely, but I know I'm in a great mood right now. This is not the time. That's the one from the deck. It's fast enough to dodge the captain's lunge. I really must tip my hat to you, Irene, for chasing it all the way here without taking a scratch. I can't take credit for it. It hardly even attacked. Look, it's still not even now. I see. I thought it wouldn't be able to resist if we chatted like this and showed it an opening. Your friend just left, you know. It's not too late to go after them. Or are you a pacifist too? Casimir's, a landlocked country where Skadi stayed for a time. A place of sprawling grasslands and forests, the land of knights. Knights. Is it a coincidence, or did something draw him there? The ship, Breogan, what did you intend to leave behind for your homeland? Where have you hidden the answer? Sea terror carcasses? And not only that. The wounds are clean and precise. They show no sign of resistance. Scents mingle in the air. The air here is stale. What else is here? What else is there on this ship? Your belt and pocket watch are undoubtedly human in origin, and even in the Iberian style. What are you? It's stalling for time. This will get complicated if the other one gets back to the ocean. Still not attacking? What a passive dance partner. I'll take the lead, Skadi. Right. Come on, fight back already. I'm starting to feel like the bad guy. No. It's not stalling for time.
Who defiles my Iberia? Heathens.
The sound of bells. What?
Bells echo through the empty hall. The lights in the hall flash. The Seaborn lands in the direction of the throne while the three are distracted. Yes, the throne. There is a throne on this Iberian ship, a symbol of pride, power, arrogance, and deceit.
It's like...
Spectre trails off, knowing what she was about to say was far too absurd. It wears a crown and drapes itself in the same colors as the curtains. It kneels by the side of the throne. The two inextricably bond with one another. It resembles the queens and ministers of old, serving the golden sun of Iberia. A silhouette emerges from behind the throne. Irene raises her lantern over her head, trying to illuminate the shadowy figure. Why do you set foot on my ship? Who would ignore a question from the great Alfonso? Why are you here? Why have you broken the silence and come for my Iberia, which had lain forgotten for decades? I will start with you. Answer me, child of old Iberia. Irene could not believe her eyes. She's seen the Seaborn's face before. She had devoted much time of her time during her Inquisitor training to the study of history, immersing herself in doctrines and creeds. How dare the Seaborn claim to be Alfonso? How dare it claim to be Iberia's greatest ship captain?
You can't possibly be the captain of this ship, monster. Alfonso was almost 50 years old 60 years ago, but you look even younger than the great hero was back then.
Irene knows she is shaken, but she cannot show weakness. She reflexively raises her lantern, as her commanding officer would have.
Drop the mask, Seaborn.
The light of her lantern flickers. The tiny speck of the Inquisitor's hand seems to fit the word lost better than the lights of this golden hall. The Golden Age. The Seaborn briefly lays its eyes on Irene before turning away dismissively, rubbing Alfonso's inhuman arm. A short silence surrounds the hero. Seaborn? I don't like that name. Tell me your name, child of old Iberia.
I am Irene, Inquisitor of Iberia. And old Iberia? You dare defile the name of...
And you dare talk to me like that? A screech interrupts that exchange. Where were you when we burned Victoria's ships and sunk the Lion King's honor to the bottom of the lake? Where were you when I paved the streets of Salviento with pure gold, brought back in my ships? Where were you when the Tertios darkened Lethanian's dawn like a black cloud?
You...
I am Alfonso, Duke of Old Iberia, Admiral of the Armada, Captain of the Stultifera, and King of my own kingdom. You, a mere Inquisitor, dare question me? The Seaborn is shaking his head, impatiently. So the Church's fools have crossed the ocean to find me. What did you expect? A pat on the back? Go back, no matter how you got here. The Stultifera Navis does not welcome you. Garcia, my chief mate. No need to be so bothered by them. They will repay the sea 1,000-fold for the blood they made you spill.
Mocking the Inquisition is a serious crime in Iberia.
Did you not understand what I just said? Leave. There is not a single living soul on this ship, child of old Iberia.
We've sacrificed so much to... I'm not here to ask for your permission.
Such impertinence. This is why I never liked the Church. A crime against a Church too helpless to stand against even the feeble royal house. If you're really from old Iberia, then tell me, who is the incumbent Pope? Carmen?
You know Saint Carmen's name?
Saint? A saint? A saint.
What are you laughing at?
He didn't even have the mettle to become Pope. Does he not feel ashamed when he sees himself in the mirror? No wonder it took you 60 years to find this place. It seems disaster has made Iberia weak. But no matter. Before the ship's doctor joined the corals, we discussed what might have become of Iberia. This is not unexpected. The floor that you stand on, this immaculate golden hall, this is the motherland I know. This is Iberia, not the backwater you speak of, half of which you refuse to see off, understand? See or understand. How far has the once great empire fallen? Is it really so pathetic that it took you 60 years to find me? Alfonso descends from the podium. Irene takes a step back. Her lantern flickers. Now then, why are there two eager with you? There is no place for the eager in my Iberia.
We meant no offense, Captain. We were merely chasing some ugly monsters, and mistook your chief mate for one of them. How did you survive for so long here?
That's the question, ain't it, you eager fools? It's been so many years since I took up hunting as a hobby. Either today or tomorrow should have been the day of reckoning. But you chased away my quarry. Now we must once again rally on those. No. Wait, no. You are not eager. You're more than eager, both of you. What's your name?
Skadi.
No. Eager. Don't try to deceive me. We may have been trapped on this ship for decades, but we are no fools. They call you Isharbla.
Did you hear the bells, Ulpianus?
It's a miracle that anything works on the ship at all.
Here the bells signal the start of the hunt.
But who's the hunter and who's the prey?
The children of the ocean don't care. If they consider Alfonso to be their kin, albeit weakened, they're willing to offer their own flesh and blood, all to ensure the survival of the strong. A hunter approaches.
Gladia. She's too sharp. The skills I've learned on land will only work for so long. She'll detect me soon.
What will you do?
What will you do?
Answering a question with a question. I am interested in your choice, Ulpianus. I never expected to become interested in the Abyssal Hunters again, but Laurentina fascinates me. I see so much possibility in her. And you've made your choice of your own accord while retaining your sanity. Have you noticed, more and more, you're becoming like one of us? Can you reach the truth, cast aside revelation, lay upon the body of God, and learn the truth of the gods of the sea? The answer you're seeking is tantalizing. Look at me, showing curiosity. Perhaps there's something human in me yet.
The revelation is imprinted upon the instincts of God's children. Our ways of thinking couldn't be more different.
Oh my. You sound even more like a seaborn than I do.
Yep. There be people still on board, or people? Question mark? Individuals? Anyway, from here on we go. Oh, first. Immediately forgot. First, we go into the logs. We go under. I think it's this one. Yes, exploring the cabins. Let's see. That was the 6th entry. So there we go. This one right here. In the middle of the battle with the mysterious Seaborn, the true master of the ship appears. The decades have not robbed him of his human mind, but he refuses to acknowledge reality and views the past with anger. We also get a picture here, which is the ancient throne. It says here, shadows continue to linger beside that ancient throne. They have always been a part of that radiance. So, now we go to the storage room. Pretty much just a pickup if you have, what was this? Defeat a total of 40 Nethersea spewers, excluding tutorials, and you get rewards. But we do get a log entry, because this did have one still under exploring the cabins. Final entry in here says, a storage room full of spare sails. Unfold one and you will find a canvas decorated with golden threads and carefully embroidered with the pattern of the Iberian flag. Maybe there are some useful supplies to be found here. These supplies can still come in handy. So, from here on, we go to the first galley. I think this one stays open. Yep, this one stays fully open. It does get a log entry. I'm gonna show you where it is. But above this room's door hangs a sign that reads First Galley. From the size and scale of this kitchen alone, one can already imagine the grand occasions on which sumptuous dishes would emerge from here. So, we have two options. One is to open the door and search. So let's do that. As its name suggests, the first galley is one of several kitchens. In addition, there's a kitchen for preparation and plating, another for desserts, and so on. The crew here is served delectable dishes worthy of their honorable statuses, or at least they were in the past. Naturally, the calamity and the starvation that ensued quickly and mercilessly stripped people of their veneer of virtue. However, let us pray that the blackened bloodstains in the corner of the galley are but accidental splatters from the chef carving Sisty Beast steak. The desalination unit installed in the kitchen seems to have been out of use for many years. Even the hardiest of races cannot survive by drinking seawater. Their ultimate fate was to die of dehydration in the middle of the ocean. Man, the ocean is a scary place. Anyway, now we go to check the freezer. Mist scatters in every direction when the freezer door is opened. It's been on this entire time. Dozens of sea terror carcasses are lined up neatly in the freezer. There are many different kinds, and some are no longer complete. Their wounds smooth and most likely caused by a clean cut. A few other skeletons of various shapes and sizes have been hung in a way that could be described as disconcerting, but it is simply a collection of different evolutionary trajectories. From the different rates of discoloration in the bones, their ages vary as well, possibly spanning decades. By the looks of it, this ship has also welcomed some non-speaking guests. That is some Event Horizon shit slowly creeping in, and I love it. Anyway, first galley goes into, obviously, logs. New section, Confronting Captain Alfonso. First entry, from the size and scale of the first galley alone, one can already imagine the grand occasions on which sumptuous dishes, blah blah, same thing. Just ends with, you can check the kitchen and the freezer. Anyway, from here on, we go to the ballroom, the next scene-only stage, so let's go. Come as you please, leave in pieces. Freely does wine pour, bodies litter the floor. So, let's begin. Meanwhile, in Gran Faro... you've returned. Thank you for your contribution. I know how painful it must have been for someone like you to go against your faith. But providence lies just ahead. This is by no means a false promise, but true redemption. I thank you. Lord Carmen is far beyond our comprehension. There is no point trying to deceive him. He will discover the truth before long. You should also thank Thiago. Our lie has condemned him to death at the hands of the Inquisition. I have never seen the Herald of the Sea, but rumor has it the Herald will not refuse the requests of its kin. Because the choices of kin must surely benefit the entire kind, the thoughts of kin must also be shared by the entire kind. We ought to learn from this, as this is also a part of the cycle. Then we'll let Thiago worry about himself. But... you still have doubts. They are necessary. Our prophet, Miss Amaya, will she really be able to come back? She has simply chosen to return to the sea one step ahead of us.
She is to locate our path, our herald, and the trails of the sleeping city. If she returns, it is to keep her kin. If she does not, it is because she is making preparations. We needn't worry too much about her. Just know that she wishes to avoid the scrutiny of the Inquisition, regardless of where she might be. Then this person, this Iberian, why did we abduct him? His Patronus seems to have made some kind of agreement with Carmen. He is an enemy. I really wish you choose another way of describing my relationship with the Doctor. You've been investigating us, have you not? I've devoted quite a lot of time explaining our ideas to you, and we would prefer not to hurt you. Have you thought things through? I think I've heard everything I need to know about your hypocrisy. Hypocrisy? Ah, you still speak of morality, the morality of the human realm. I couldn't care less. What the sea terrors or seaborn really are, all I see are a bunch of outlaws inventing a reason to vent their frustration with Iberia and the Inquisition. While I haven't lived here for a peculiarly long time, I am an Iberian. And I've been to a lot of places and seen a lot of different things. People like you who think they're special are actually a dime a dozen. If the gods you talk about are real and all that nonsense about being the pinnacle of evolution, of the bleeding edge of life, then surely these gods must look down on people like you, right? How dare you? No, he's right. That is why the Herald no longer speaks to us. That is why only a Maya can hear the voice of the ocean and only she can guide us. So there really was something off about the Maya. I should have caught on sooner. That said, how is it looking?
Whatever those things of yours are, that Nethersea brand, they aren't able to get into the center of town at all. That black monster can do more than fly. It can even belch out terrifying jets of flame. The Nethersea brand can spread faster than it's being burned. If it gets dragged out, then Gran Faro will fall into the Inquisition's hands as soon as the sea terrors holding back the Penal Battalion are exterminated. Then we all die.
No, Thiago, no. All these things you speak of, you do not grieve for the kin who willingly give themselves up to hold back our enemies. In other words, you are not yet resolved to sacrifice yourself for our entire kind at a moment's notice.
Don't talk to me like that. Our interests happen to line up this time. And I'm just an old fogey with no interest in becoming an ocean hugger.
What a low-born, stubborn creature.
Same to you, friend. And you, lad, didn't I warn you not to meddle in other people's affairs?
Thiago, you know each other?
No, he's just an outsider who kept hanging around the chapel. As the mayor, I need to have at least some idea of every person in town. You should have stayed out of it. Right then. We should act soon, right? Or are we going to wait for the Inquisitor and his monster-wielding accomplice to burn my whole town to the ground?
We will not. You seem awfully attached to the city. Why?
Gran Faro is the embodiment of our generation-spanning vision to rebuild our country. Heretic. Ask any of the Iberians who've joined you, and you'll understand. The Inquisition has taken enough from us, and I intend to pay them back double.
I am Skadi, not Isharmla.
You pronounce it differently, but what does it mean? Skadi knows, but dares not answer. Gladia told her that she is right, and she is willing to believe her. But that is only an escape. She knows what the name means. It means a thunderous roar within the abyss, flesh and bone rubbing against the rock walls until only the will remains, surging beyond the ocean. It means that after that horrifying battle, something was left in her body. Something. blood and your blood are identical. You smell my scent exactly as we smell your scent. You find us, kill us. When we do not understand, we will kill you too. We feed the ocean. Our bodies have provided for the ocean. A charm law. We possess the same home. Inquisitor, how dare you join forces with them?
What?
Get off my ship this instant. Otherwise, you'll join them in my hunt as the quarry.
Easy there, Mr. Captain. Now tell me, how did you come to learn of this name?
I'll tell you exactly how. We ate the flesh of these things and our bodies began to change. I personally executed 3 of the survivors, until only we remained. Now it's my turn to ask you. Their blood also flows in your veins. I can smell it. And you must be more special than the others.
What are you?
Look at my hand. Scotty looks down. One of the captain's arms has taken on the form of a seaborn, its newly formed webbing clearly visible, and its tentacle-like extensions ever squirming. He seems to be making an effort to restrain it. By the looks of it, whatever is inside an arm is also interfering with his body. It thirsts for my mind. It tells me to liberate you, to talk to you, to listen to your thoughts. Get off my ship before I kill the lot of you. Only by killing you can I maintain my sanity as a human. Be gone.
We've paid an immense price just to get here. If you truly still are the Iberian hero, then you should join us.
Think carefully, little Inquisitor. I've been in a bitter struggle for my life on this ship for longer than my homeland has been at war. What could you possibly understand? A single layer of confinement can break a person's will. Do you have any idea how many years we've spent here, flirting with the waves? 7 or 8 years ago, I personally executed our last crew member and threw him into the sea. He died as a human. He was the last 2. We were Iberia's best sailors, warriors, and scientists, stalwart in our faith. The most common way to die aboard this ship was suicide. You can't imagine what I've been through. The left side of my body snatched away in my dreams. I no longer need sleep. That itself was a form of torture. And during this prolonged torture, I've had naught to do but hunt those monsters, large and small, and while away the remaining hours polishing my ship. Leave me and my chief mate be, and return to where you came from. I don't belong to you or to the sea. I belong only to my Iberia, to the Stultifera Navis. Gladia stops walking. While she contemplates why this place is so clean, she notices a change in the scent. Seaborn. Of course there are seaborn here. But what is the cause of this impure odor, and where does vague premonition she is starting to feel come from? She can only continue walking, following the path etched into the back of her mind, and attempts to reach the depths of the ship. Suddenly, she comes to a stop.
Don't you think you're being a bit too obtuse appearing on this primitive transport vessel that hasn't docked in over 60 years. Bishop of the Deep. You saw through me immediately. Do you suppose that means I chose the wrong place to appear? You followed us here. Hardly. Strictly speaking, I was the one who arrived first. The ocean communicates with me. It accepts me. It aids me. From the very beginning, coming to the ship was a trivial task. That you've been able to suppress your urge to rush forward and slay me is already quite impressive. Is it because you feel the ship is vital to your grand plans? What are you after? You killed Quintus. I should have known better, so even you test tube watching bottom feeders, pardon my language, will pursue vengeance. No, you misunderstand. Quintus was a bit too eager to attain results, and that temperament of his not only led to his demise, but also demonstrated conclusively that he was born human. Not that something to be ashamed of. Under our doctrine, we will never become what we seek to be by thought alone. Only changes to nerve and sinew can be considered real. Wouldn't you agree, Abyssal Hunter? We don't need to be enemies. I have no plans to do anything to you. One's end is decided at the moment of one's birth. Nothing can change this immutable fact. You went through all the effort to follow us out to sea just to spew this nonsense. About that. That's not something you need to know. Those lovely creatures won't be able to hold me back. Amaya smiles weakly but does not answer. A blue light emerges from under her feet, and it soon envelops the entire corridor. The Nethersea brand. The Nethersea brand and Gran Faro, so those straps were your handiwork. Hardly. You're also quick to blame your every misfortune on the Church of the Deep, but never stop to consider the truth behind these phenomena. These children have always existed in Gran Faro. I simply found them. Cut the crap. We're out in the middle of the ocean. Our touch, invisible to the naked eye, is everywhere. The ship may not be of much use in your quest to return to Aegir. But must you really insist on returning? Have you never had the slightest inclination to listen to what the heralds have to say? Seems you aren't too different from that stupid bishop after all. You've never even been in a real fight, otherwise you'd never say such an idiotic thing to a hunter. No, but not all hunters take such pride in their arrogance. We will meet again, Gladia. You've disappointed me, but that's fine. Perhaps it's for the better that you have something to break out of. Meaning? But whether you come or go, or whether Aegir comes and goes, it is for me to decide. You won't be leaving this conversation alive, though? Oh, really?
Seaborn doing a very ear-splitting screech.
Quintus should have had a herald by his side. You fought with that herald. You've spoken with that herald. While you stagnate in place, the ocean is ever in motion. Aegir is far from smart enough to curb evolution itself. Hold it. Such weak, pitiful prey that cannot even speak, more like a beast. Hurry up and die. I still have a score to settle with that bishop. I need answers from her.
Did you hear that, chief mate? Our quarry brays. It calls out to us. The monster known as the chief mate nods slightly. and uses its claws to straighten the crown that started to slip from its head. It brays, it calls out to us. You brought yet more rebel with you.
It must be Swordfish. She must have discovered something. There's something unusual about the smell here. The sea breeze is confusing us.
Good thing these filthy eager haven't scared it away. We've already been romping around for months, and I'd hate to see my ship even more beat up.
By hunt, do you mean you're hunting the Seaborn?
Seaborn? Sure am. Hunting to live off the bounty of the land, hasn't humanity done so since the dawn of time? But if you still haven't left by the clock's next chime, you will die. Alright then. So, Ballroom gets obviously a log entry. Log entry, let's see, in confronting Captain Alonso, second and final log entry. On the Stultifera, the hunters are unable to reach an agreement with Alfonso, just as it is impossible for the cultists and townspeople of Gran Faro to reconcile with the Inquisition. Conflicts deeply rooted, with a dire need for resolution. Alright. The next thing after that finally opens up is right here. The domed elevator. It says right here, the huge dome elevator in the middle of the Stultifera connects the various levels of this great battleship. When riding it, one may witness Iberia's breathtaking scenery, depicted across the walls. Standing here is like standing in the center of the world. Alright. This obviously gets two things, considering what was on screen. First off, in the Surviving the Hunt first log entry, says here the huge... okay, says here, pretty much the same thing. Standing here is likely standing in the center of the world. But we do get another thing for the backpack, which is a faded photo. It says here, from what few materials remain, this part of the ship was called the domed elevator. Though the photo has already faded, you can still see what it looked like when it was first built. This is the heart of the Stultifera Navis. To use a somewhat corny metaphor, if the Stultifera is the crown of Iberia, then the domed elevator is its brightest gemstone. When designing this area, Breogan intended it to be a purely functioning device connecting the various decks, but the people who made it what it would become were Iberia's greatest artists. Along the walls surrounding the dome, they painted the most elaborate frescoes, engraved the most profound poems, and inlaid the most awe-inspiring statues. The process of stepping into the elevator was in itself a visit to Iberia's most wanted treasures. Rumor has it that at least 3 of the royal palace's artists died in duels for the privilege to have a place in the domed elevator project. Lovely. Alright, next we get the... oh, sorry, not this one. Not this one. Oh god, I need to remember now. Where did we go? What did we see? Also not this one. Oh my god. What was the next thing that opened up? Holy shit. The next one was training area. What was training area? What was training area? You see how confusing this shit is even for me? It's not the stage, right? No. Oh my god. Ah, there we go. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. This needs some kind of number coding. But yeah, anyway. Training area, pardon, gets 2 entries. It did have like just a interact section for it, but again, 2 entries to the surviving the hunt section. Entries number 2 and number 3. So, a training area packed with sea terror, seemingly startled awake by the sound of hunting bells. This place, once used for human training, is now their hatchery. In the darkness, sets of eyes shine with a eldritch glow. The sounds of crawling and slithering fill the air, and their hostility is practically palpable. And then, third log entry, in the end, a sea terror is nothing more than a sea terror, and the battle soon reaches its conclusion. They slink back into the darkness to recuperate, awaiting their next opportunity. That is the nature of the hunt. You are either the hunter or the prey. A rather large sea terror died under the watch of its kin. From its pentacle hangs a pocket watch, which, based upon its engravings, once belonged to the navigator of the Stultifera Navis. From this perspective of their species' survival, would sea terrors ever evolve a compulsion to collect? So, that was the training area. Next one on the chopping block is the records room. The records room originally has only one section to explore. The other one you need a passcode to access, but we will do the first section now. So, the records room most likely house all of the Iberian Gran fleet's confidential files at one point. All sorts of documents related to personnel, deployment plans, and tactical arrangements were sealed away into safes one by one. Now they are nothing more than piles of refuse. Then we search the room. Other than a table, a few chairs, a lamp in the middle of the room, and the safes of various sizes lining up all the way to the ceiling, there are practically no other items here. The person in charge of this place must have been quite organized. Most of the safes here haven't been locked, the documents inside them now meaningless. Only one of the larger ones remains firmly shut, requiring a passcode to open. We do get a log entry here, which is again in the surviving section that we just were in. Fourth log entry says here, the records room housed all of the Iberian Grand Fleet's confidential files in one point. Basically the same thing, only says at the beginning this room can be searched, and once the password is found, a large safe can also be unlocked. So we will now continue and come back to the safe once we get that one. The next one would be the ship chapel, which is over here. It says right now there is no longer anything noteworthy here, but obviously there was 2 log entries here, plus a item into the backpack. So, log entries, again, surviving the hunt. These are log entries number 5 and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, number 5 says, in the ship's chapel, an icon overlooks every guest who visits. Many years ago, sailors once came here to confess their sins and unburden their souls. Now, the only thing that might enter this ornate chapel is the occasional lost sea terror. And the next one says, before the calamity, the Church of Iberia had already drifted from the Lateran Church. It no longer wished its flock to be shackled by Lateran law, and His Holiness in Lateran seemed unaware of this schism. In the end, the Iberians discovered that only they can bring themselves salvation. The ship's chapel is a typical product of the post-schism era, its icon no longer holding a gun but instead taking up sword and lantern. The Church of Iberia had already written its own scriptures, and with the king's support planned to have a pope of its own. Now that all of this has been reduced to ash, only the Inquisition remains to lead Iberia forward. In the corner of the chapel lies a row of standard issue sailor hats, their original owners long gone, hidden beneath the waves. However, this little token of commemoration is enough to prove that there are still those who do not wish to forget them. And yes, we got a backpack entry, which is the Dusty Icon. Says here, "My sincerest apologies, but I must once again reject your proposal. While I deeply appreciate everyone's continued support and have no intention of being excessively modest, Iberia has suffered through a terrible calamity, and we have all seen that the royal family and the aristocracy are unable to keep this country functioning. As such, the strength of the Church of Iberia is needed more than ever in our effort to rebuild the nation. However, I am still reluctant to don the papal crown. It is too early to draw lessons from the calamity, but the present turmoil across Iberia has proven that the wealthy and powerful have no way of steering the people in the right direction from their lofty seats. Their positions have made them greedy and complacent, and their focus only on plundering what little wealth remains should be shunned. We cannot repeat their mistakes. We cannot afford to prop up a pope and a few false bishops and hope that they can solve all our problems for good. We must stand at the vanguard, resisting the ocean's invasion with our own bodies, and safeguarding our sacred lands with our very fates. We ought to lift our lanterns to clear the fog from our people's way, and march across the sharp thorns with our blades in hand. We must punish evil and castigate sin. I propose that starting now, the Church of Iberia be recognized into the Inquisition, and that the 9 present here be named saints. I propose that we give up our former names and from here on out dedicate our lives only to the country, our names becoming synonymous with the country. This may be an overbearing proposal, but it is a burden I hope we can all bear, and that I, Carmen E. Iberia, can shoulder this responsibility." So there we go, pretty much the start of the Inquisition. Quick little sippy sip. Anyway, continuing to pipe shaft, should be this one. Yep. Jeez. "There is nothing worth investigating here," says it, but we get the next 2 log entries here. So 7 and 8. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 7 says, Their area inside the pipe shaft is a complete mess. It seems that one brutal fighting occurred here, and based on the sword marks left behind, both sides must have been human. The next one says, "Upon closer inspection, you see 2 skeletons entangled together. One of the skeletons seems so warped and twisted that it resembles the bones left behind by a certain species of sea terror. One longsword pierced through what had once been their chests, while a second sword remains in their grasp. By the looks of it, they had been the ones to drive the first sword through their bodies. Why would their deaths be like this? What was their relationship? What were they thinking before they died? Perhaps nobody will ever know." We also get a backpack item here. Many backpack items this episode. The broken Iberian rapier. It says here, "How much can a single sword endure? When it was cast, it was already doomed to be thrust through someone's chest. No matter how much it is adorned with honor, etiquette, or respect, the immutable fact is that the sword is an instrument of slaughter, and will sooner or later drink blood. Only this time blood is brought before it differently. When these 2 people put their lives on the line, what exactly are they searching for, and what keeps them going? Is it love, impulse, or mercy? Perhaps they seek a way to save each other's souls. Perhaps the only way to do so is to destroy one another." Next was the... hold on, not this one. The records room, let me find it. At least I tried to access it. Oh, never mind. Records room is here. Right. Jesus Christ. Records room, this one. And, oh yeah, the last two stages basically gave us the cipher, the code we need to unlock this. So, let's see what's in the safe. It says here, the heavy safe door slides open, revealing nothing inside except a copy of the ship's personal files. By reading it, you catch a glimpse of everything that the Stultifera has suffered since the calamity. When the silence struck, the massive fleet collided with the terrible waves almost head-on, suffering heavy casualties. When the waves subsided, the Stultifera spent a while trying to find any other ships or survivors out at sea. But with little luck, as its own propulsion system had been damaged. Then the monsters appeared. Within half a month of the calamity, the crew had been reduced by more than half, every inch of the deck stained red with blood. A year later, the ship's supplies ran low, and the remaining 100 crew members began their long struggle. The following records are filled with horrific, appalling words: betrayal, madness, chewing, transformation. Now we are definitely in Event Horizon territory. 20 years after the calamity, only 16 people remained alive and sane on the ship. Rip ship. And now we go to the stage. And yes, this will be a stage that I will leave in. The story for this stage is after the stage is done, so we're gonna do that after. Obviously it has its own both description and it has a little extra bonus that we will include, which is something like a mini-boss. The stage description says, "He distinguishes not between the beautiful and the ugly. He knows no fear and understands no fatigue. What shall we make of such a person?" And why is this stage a doozy? Well, you'll see in a second, but also because of this little guy and these two. But, it says here on the description, the end speaker, will of we many. The tiny seaborn that haunted the mighty Stultifera, the blood of its parents once strewn across the ocean's waters. Their revelation reaches not the ears of the children, their kind's destiny, quietly continuing to flow. And why is it difficult? Well, you'll see in a moment, but I'm gonna talk about it after the stage. When you see it, you might understand it, but I'll talk over it on the stage as well, so yeah, we'll get there. And as for the team that I used here, well, the 4 Abyssal Hunters are gonna be present, and it's a mixture of anything between 4 stars, 5 stars, and well, a Squid and an Eager as healers, plus Irene. Irene, literally the one out of everybody here, out of place, not considering some other things, but let's begin with the stage. And as you can see, skills pretty much mostly 3rd skills, 2nd skills on characters. But let's get in. The first section I'm gonna let run slowly so you can see what is happening. But essentially this whole stage is a battle on 2 fronts, at least in its first like 2/3 of it. It is pretty much a thing of holding the line on 2 sides and blocking that gate so nothing gets literally out of it, and especially the bigger ones later, because the big guys with like the staffs, well, when they start getting damaged, they will start dropping the brand. But if you keep them in the gate in there, they won't do so, which is a nice little mechanic and makes things quite easier on that end.
縛られるつもりはない。すぐに解決いたしますわ。
But yeah, pretty much as you can see, I've pretty much blocked off the path. Spectre is pretty much enough. You can use the deployable tools here if you have them set to clean the brand, to just, pardon, to slit them across the stage over on the left side so they keep cleansing it, which gives it gives Spectre or whoever you deploy here, if you're gonna do it the same way, a bit more leeway. I love that skill. I love that skill so much. Just Irene doing her best Reaper impression. But yeah, I know it's not really visible because of the stuff on the top, but there is a big guy now in the gate. He has his shield deployed, as his health has dropped significantly low. And now we're gonna utilize the washing machine, also known as Gladia. But yeah, a couple of them are gonna go through, and essentially, I think it is once you kill this one, so let me speed it up a bit, because this is literally gonna be the last one for a while. So, now that he dies, another one appears, or rather two individuals appear. Both had a mark above their head, and when both of them die, they're gonna drop one of these, like, totems, which are gonna go into play in a second. So let's speed up, because nothing new will now appear, and I will start to be setting up the whole thing around this place and covering the middle edge. This is gonna be the important section. And the reason why this is taking so long is because I'm basically stalling for time here. Because I'm waiting on cooldowns for characters so I can redeploy them. This bottom line here is pretty much just gonna be a conga line of operators. And now that he is dead, this guy appears, but he is squish as hell. If you've seen in the previous section where I was reading his description, he has D- on everything. But, let me just stop it here for a second. When he dies, doesn't matter where he dies, but I think, if I remember right, he is gonna spawn at one of these, depending on where someone was the last, or rather... Actually, I don't know. I'm not sure. Because I need to reread the description. Anyway, for me, he's gonna spawn up here. And I'm gonna show you in the description later why this one was easier for me. Because when he respawns, he's gonna devour the corpse of one of these two. But now that this area is glowing, he's gonna spawn up here. Or rather, sorry, not gonna spawn up here. He's gonna spawn in the middle. But he's gonna eat the thing up here. And when he eats this one, he will get a defense buff with something else. I can't remember what it is. There he goes. He's now in the middle. The snipers are ready to receive him, including Lapland. One healer to keep the snipers a bit longer alive. One sniper down, which is fine. And on the right you can see why I'm deploying a little conga line here, cause these little assholes are gonna be starting to appear now. And they can obviously knock out people very quickly. Lapland is triggered. I used one of the deployables to stun the 3 assholes over here. Washing machine on. Cruise was not needed, but why not? And that is pretty much it.
Mission accomplished.
私には誇れる才能なんて何もない。だから狙撃手として敵は必ず半径3メートル圏外で仕留めるように気をつけて。
Would have been funnier there would have been a Abyssal Hunter on the screen. But anyway, these two die and they leave a corpse behind. A corpse that this guy devours and then reforms itself. Now the difference is, when he dies, so this is the top right gate, when he dies and his corpse gets devoured, this bad boy will get a defense and block up. If he dies on this one, or rather devours this one, he gets a resistance increase. I went with this one because of Lapland in the middle, so she pretty much with arts plus Gladia's skill also does arts damage, so her third skill that is. So he got wrecked, so to speak. But yeah, that is pretty much it about that stage. So let's watch the scene, shall we? I see it. I see Alfonso heading to the Great Hall every day. He's named it Iberia. He's moved the mirror from his bedroom to the hall and spends day after day examining himself. Ever since the head chef and young Jamie were executed, he and I are the only ones left. There you are. How long was I asleep? Feels like I barely got any rest before I found myself awake. Not long, but... No need to force yourself. I know it hurts when you talk. These lonely monsters leave plenty of blood behind. So let's use that to write instead. I nod. In the corner are buckets filled with the blood of our quarry. Time passes too slowly. I barely slept at all, but my dreams felt even longer than all the decades behind us. It is time we gave up then. It's been a long, long while since young Jamie and the old chef left us. Should we follow them? We should give up. My consciousness blurs more and more, like the feeling of being entangled right before waking from a dream. It is not just my flesh that is changing, but everything about me, everything that makes me a living being. We should give up. We should end ourselves before we are devoured. The infinite, boundless ocean, the sea breeze, the waves, the whispers. Chief mate, this is our ship, our ideals. Sooner or later, we'll lose even the strength to walk, but that won't happen to her, not the Stultifera Navis. That cigar-chomping engineer was right. Even if we all die, the ship will never sink. Today is just another 24 hours in one long, unending day. The chief mate begins to scrawl some words using the blood of the sea terror. Don't give up. Look at what you've become. I can't even see your sea blue eyes anymore. Wouldn't you rather be set free? The chief mate scrawls, I am your chief mate. For your sake. Hush, easy now. Thank you, Garcia. No matter what you turn into, the bond between us will never change. The chief mate nods. But I know he's looking at the mirror because even someone as strong as him has finally succumbed to the monsters. We have consumed their flesh and blood. At first we started fires to cook them, then we were forced to devour them raw. Even the most powerful inquisitors were were awed by Alfonso's strength. He was the object of so many young sailors' admiration. There was nothing he couldn't do. But he has held on long enough. Soon he too will become one of the monsters. He is worried. He is furious. If he cannot even tolerate the slightest monster within him, how can he tolerate me?
Trash. You're worth even less than the weed that washed ashore in Salviento. That woman was merely creating a smokescreen. The ocean boasts no changes to speak of.
Yeah. I want to see. Are you free? Friends are here. They are trapped. Need help. Should be returned to Arkin's embrace. Many friends have died here, but parents will not let them die. I must save them.
Even if you can speak with an ugly mug of yours, there's no surprise to anyone. That's no surprise to anyone.
Return to the Great Sea. No need to fight. We go together.
I've already grown tired of your prattling. Time to end you.
But yeah, will you prey on me? If you feed, will that make you stronger, more full of life? Will it help the scales on your neck grow and spread and return you to your proper form?
Abyssal hunters are bound by blood. The Seaborn contorts its relatively slender form. It is biting off parts of its own body.
I swear this flesh. Consume it. If you need more, I give you more. I will give you everything.
Gladia stares blankly at the fleshy mass on the ground. She is shaken, but not because of the Seaborn or its behavior. However, this moment of distraction convinces the Seaborn that Gladia has accepted its proposal.
We will meet again soon.
The Seaborn leaves. Gladia does not pursue it, because she smells the scent of shark and Skadi. The Seaborn will not escape. She turns around and heads towards where another smell is coming from.
The smell of the sea and of blood. The smell of hunters. Aboard the ship, and I didn't notice it until I got this close. Impossible. What did we do? What do we do now? Never expected there'd be people alive here. I thought we'd get this ship back just by killing some sea terrors. The captain made it sound so simple. What are you looking at, Spectre? The mirror. Did you know, Skadi? Even as we speak, when I look at myself in this mirror, I start to remember so many things that I'd forgotten. A darkened dome, 100-meter tall sculpture, an aquamarine-colored opera hall, a waterfall pouring crystals of ice. What is this? What is this place, Scotty? Your home. My home. I remember now. Writhing flesh climbing all over that statue. It collapses with a thunderous thud. I remember these things, but I never experienced them. Don't know. I only know it from hearing you talk about where you used to live, which fell into ruin long ago, long before I met you. Maybe you only saw the report later on. Can we save that chatter for some other time? Were we planning to chase down the two Seaborn, or are we seizing control of the ship while they're not around and sailing it back? If the survivors haven't managed in 60 years, somehow I doubt we could figure it out ourselves. Just be patient. The squad leader will figure something out. Spectre, what's wrong? Just a little dizzy. I just remembered what they did to me. Wait. I saw her just now in Gran Faro. She was willing to talk to me. She was full of hypocrisy, blowing hot and cold, but she's here. What, you mean more survivors? No, an enemy. One who can cross the sea and board this vessel, which is more than enough to identify them. Let's split up. Where will you go? I'm an Iberian Inquisitor. It is my duty to ensure that this ship returns to Iberia's hands. I'll go after that. After Alfonso.
Seaterers slithers away hastily. Oh, don't you worry, Garcia. We'll catch up soon enough. When those ignorant eagers wounded it, it went up through Victoria and past Bolivar. From there, it could only climb up onto the deck, then dive into the sea. The ship is not at its beck and call. Lethanian. When we were young, we visited that country along with some other officers. Do you still remember? The twisted faces of those Quifferston were enough to turn stomachs, but they understood how to respect arts, which was a mind-boggling revelation. Today's been a good day. We saw quite a few living people. Hope they get out quickly though. Go to Lethanian, Garcia. Go play the scores you used to love so much. Breathe some life into the hunt, my love. The chief mate nods. Just to quickly clarify, he's calling the different portions of the ship by name of countries. He's not telling him to actually go to Lethanian. Just to make sure. Anyway.
You are not scaleless. Do you need food?
Seaterers encircling slithering sounds.
Sufficient nutrition, but these waters are still incomplete. The cycle has not yet been built, and living things die in wane. We must hurry. Why? Hunting meaningless. There is something we must do. A duty to our kin.
How many does that make now? Lost track after 10. When do you monsters learn how to talk? Oh, no, I remember you, little one. When we ate your parents, you and your little were nearby watching. Back then, you were the weakest of the lot. Pathetic runt. Alfonso laughs as he pokes at the Seaborn's wound, blood running along the tip of his blade and dripping onto the floor.
We are bound by blood. You hunt and eat us. You will become us. Just as our parents hunted you and then became hunted by you.
If the right conditions can trigger your evolution, then how do we make you more palatable? Your flesh, that is.
To hunt is to survive. There is no good or evil in the hunt.
That's too bad then.
The scent trail ends here. He led me here. The smell.
Gladia does not search for the hunter's whereabouts. She begins to look around. Ever since she boarded this vessel, her surroundings have filled her with a sense of nostalgia. The materials, the decorations, the handiwork. Breogan, a genius from the Academy of Sciences, was an eager. Without a doubt, this was his domain. The mystery behind why the ship hadn't sunk in decades was itself the message Breogan wanted to leave to the eager, a brand new fusion of originium and terrestrial technologies. But what exactly is it? Glania grasps the key from her bosom. She seizes up her surroundings.
Breogan, where did you hide your secrets? Why would this ship be built like a palace? Most of it is decorative, and there are even sculptures. No, that's not all. Both the sculptures and the patterned carpets have been cleaned, even under these conditions.
The sound of music wafts in from the distance.
Someone's playing the piano. It's coming from over here.
Irene's footsteps slow down. At the end of the corridor, through a crack in the door, she sees a single Seaborn slapping away at a dilapidated old piano.
It's that Seaborn that was next to Alfonso, but what is it doing here?
The chief mate is cheerfully slapping away at the piano.
What a ruckus. It's just pounding away at the keyboard with no rhyme or reason. Alfonso isn't here. Did he go after the Seaborn? Why is his chief mate here alone then? Well, I won't worry about it for now.
The seashore, oh the seashore.
What? That melody just now, was that a coincidence? It certainly looks like it's only randomly smashing the keys. No, it stopped.
The seashore. Oh, the seashore. Farewell to heroes and great men.
The chief mate turns its head in fear. Fear is what Irene sees in its behavior. A massive, inexplicably physical reaction. One that's never been displayed in front of a hunter before.
Just now, you weren't just randomly hitting keys. That passage you played, an Iberian military song, you... How? You're still conscious. Do you still have memories of being human? Do you know who you are? But no, you're already fully transformed. The Inquisition has dealt with cultists like that before. There's no reversing it. What are you planning? What are you doing with your hand?
The chief mate carefully places its hand on top of Irene's head.
What? What is the meaning of this?
Through the scraps of cloth reminiscent of a wedding wail, the seaborn known as the chief mate watches Irene. Its pupils are cloudy. It is suffering. It is filled with both affection and nostalgia.
If you truly retain a shred of your humanity, but how, after all these years?
Captain.
What's happening? Wait.
And feed. But that is not what you are doing. Your goal is constantly changing. Shaking. Yes, shaking.
You should just keep playing your piano, Garcia. You don't need to be touching these. Chief mate lightly shakes head. Then sink your teeth into it. Its body is changing. Finish it now.
You are not hungry. Why?
Alfonso does not answer the seaborn's question. He simply chops and hacks at it again and again, like meat on a cutting board. The chief mate bites down on the seaborn in a death grip. Its crown falls to the ground during the struggle, but it does not care to pick it up. Alfonso cuts off the seaborn's tentacles, which join the crew on the ground. Crown on the ground. The chief mate pauses for a moment. Ah, Garcia. Look at your crown and that tentacle. Do you understand what you've become now?
Leave. We will meet again.
Garcia! The chief mate lifts its head, but the seaborn has already vanished without a trace. It quietly picks up its crown and places it back on its head before returning to Alfonso's side. As if apologizing, it gently rubs his hand. Are you hurt, my good chief mate? Or were you distracted by our uninvited guests? The chief mate does not answer. It dares not speak. It dares not say that what it was biting down into the enemy, it felt like it was tearing into its own kin. It dares not speak, and after once gaze again realizing what it has become, it begins to feel guilt.
If you still...
Jesus. If you still have room for emotions in your heart, then that is proof enough that you're still human. Remember young Jamie's last words? I have no remorse, no regrets, and no fear. Only when you truly fear, nothing will you lose the right to call yourself human. Don't worry, the next hunt will be quick, and as always, it will return. The chief mate nods. What's wrong? The chief mate lightly shakes head.
Harold?
Kin. Scaleless.
You are badly wounded, and newborn like you should not have been in a hurry to board the ship.
Kin are here, in need of help.
Indeed, true enough, but you've been hurt. Though they are kin, they do not welcome you. They have not yet accepted their identity. They are still lost and confused.
Accept identity.
You do not need to understand. These waters are still incomplete. Perhaps you will have to further protect yourself before you can lead our entire kind.
Need time and nutrition.
And I've come to give you both. That blasphemous sea captain slaughtered sea terrors for food, but used every means available to hinder the transformation. He's usurped pieces of the cycle, yet refused to be part of it. The flesh and blood of those offspring rightfully belong to you. Those nutrients were meant to be yours. The ship has delayed the birth of a brand new ecosystem. Please do not abandon me, Harold. In due time, all of Terra will become one and the same with the nest.
I do not abandon kin. I need time, but not much more. I will be back. We will meet again.
I could have sworn you were going to rush over and kill us. Should I be thanking you, old Pianus?
I can kill something like that whenever I want. It's even weaker than Quintus.
How patient of you.
Claudia also tried to infiltrate the Church of the Deep in Salviento, hoping to get something out of them. Of course, she was a poor fit given her personality.
And here I was thinking that none of you were a good fit. Or are you saying you're special? You're getting less and less tight-lipped of late. I suppose there's really no rhyme or reason for when you decide to keep quiet, Ulpianus.
Don't use my given name so casually, Liberi. You don't understand the weight behind it. We are enemies.
Oh, we both know we're already abandoned that notion deep in your heart. Of course, you might still hold some enmity. Like a lost and famished traveler who stumbles on a frozen, starving mangler beast in the mountains. Did whatever Breogan left behind satisfy your imagination?
Far from it. The Seaborn have existed for even longer than the Eager. For their history to be turned upside down, there must be something behind it. If you care about the word of God, then so be it. The Seaborn are not gods, nor are their forefathers. I have seen how your gods die, their screams coursing through the currents, their flesh and blood smeared across abyssal ravines. As the clan hovered overhead, I plunged into the unknown depths of Vaegar's territory. I've seen it with my own eyes, enough to shatter all the beliefs I'd held thus far. Afterwards, I will rebuild it. Eager will be lifted up once more. Oh, pardon. Quick sip. Alright. Anyway, this obviously has its own log entry, which is, once again, in the surviving the hunt section, log entry number 9, so 6, 7, 8, 9, the last entry in here says, the Rakta group defeats the newly spawned Seaborn, but Amaya and Ulpianus have their own plans. The mysterious legacy of the legendary shipwright is within arm's reach, but Gladia senses kin that have separated from the many. Alright, after that we go to the... hold on, not to that one. Actually, wait. Oh, yeah, right, never mind. I went first from left to right, because a lot of shit opened. First, Chain Locker. Or was it? Wait, oh my god. My own notes are confusing me. Where's the confinement room? Jesus. There it is. Oh my god. Apologies. There's a lot, and it goes left, right, left. Anyway, confinement room. Confinement room. Obviously, has its own log entry into the next section. Pursuing the fleeing seaborn. It gets the first and second entry. It says here, a solitary confinement room with a ring of iron fencing around it. The cell has been breached from the inside, rendering it unable to perform its function ever again. The room's fence is torn apart, broken iron bars strewn across the ground. Once you inspect the thing, there is a letter sitting atop the desk in the confinement room. Drops of suspicious mucus that closely resemble the Nethercy brand dotting the paper like stars. The top half of the letter is still relatively clean, appearing to be addressed to the writer's family. He repeatedly expressed his longing for them, and his guilt for no longer being able to be with them. As the dripping mucus increased, the handwriting became messier and messier. The writer indicated that he would soon go home to see the children, and would bring them lots of presents. After that, the rest of the letter was almost completely covered in mucus, with only a few words such as ocean and return vaguely visible. The last line written on the letter is extremely neat. We are one. It seems that the escapee had written this letter. Anyway, this gets a backpack item as well, in the form of the slimy letter. It says here in the letter, this is the 1172nd letter I've written to you. All the previous ones are still in my drawer, for unfortunately I have no way of sending them to you. However, this might really be my last. I've locked myself in the confinement room now. 2 days ago, little Reina also jumped into the ocean. Bless her. The rest is crossed out. A large section of words has been crossed out, then continues. Sorry, I can't control myself. How are you all doing? I am blessed. Then some scribbles, continuing. I owe you so much. Maybe you'll have something to be proud of me for as well. After all, I almost managed to hold on. I hung on for over 30 years. You can't even imagine how hard it's been. Fortunately, and then several blotches of dark ink, and then continuing. I almost managed to hold on, but fell short in the end. I miss all of you so much. How many times have I written these words? But enough of that, because we'll be able to see each other again soon enough. I'll be home soon. I'll give you all a big hug and bring you souvenirs from the journey, followed by crazed scribblings. Continuing, I once served on a great ship defending section crossed out Iberia. My children, I'll be bringing back presents. What do you want? Maybe. And then the following portion is illegible, and then finishes, I will continue to hold on. I will continue to hold on. Alright, and then we go to the maintenance access. There we go, that's it, I skipped the thing. But we get another thing for Little Handy. It's the third attachment, which obviously has two little modes here. One is operators gain +1 block, which is kind of huge if you ask me. The second one is increases the duration of stun, cold, and freeze effects inflicted by operators by 80%, which is also very huge. But anyway, this obviously gets log entries. Once more into the pursuing the fleeing seaborne section. It is the third log entry, says here. In the maintenance access corridor, a special device can be found leaning against the wall, marked with an Iberian letter, with the Iberian letters incremental motion firmware. It seems to fit into one of the slots in Little Handy. Hard to imagine how this thing can be used to help people exercise. And obviously a backpack item down here. which is the incremental motion firmware manual. It says here, the incremental motion firmware component, after being assembled onto your little handy, will show you the joys of exercise. A robust body is able to house discerning thoughts, and a replete spirit can nourish a pure soul. The walls of the Institute of Technology and Academy of Science were never meant to restrain you from running freely. If you feel that your body is too weak to keep up with your surging thoughts, please make good use of this. Exercise in moderation unless you want to wake up with muscle pain in the middle of the night. Anyway, continuing on to the most left here, to the chain locker, which is obviously just giving us rewards in form of more currency for the shop. Only requirement is to clear SN-7. And yes, clear. You don't need all three stars. But once again, we go into the logs, into the pursuing the fleeing seaborne section. 4th log says here, inside the chain locker, the anchor system has been completely destroyed during the profound silence, and this cabin has been empty for many years. However, someone seems to have turned this place into their own secret stash, leaving behind quite a few glittering things. These supplies can still come in handy. And then for today we will finish off here in the command hall. Let me just say quickly here, this, not really spoiler, but there is a unique CG in this one that when I saw it the first time made me laugh so much, no matter how epic the moment is and cool it looks. It made me laugh because you cannot tell me that this CG is not a reference to something else. And I hope I don't start laughing again in the middle of the narration, but it's something, alright? And we'll talk about that. Anyway, command hall. There is no road ahead as far as the eyes can see. So, let's begin. It's here. He led me here and then uncovered his scent. Seems he's learned a handful of tricks from human land. Gladia looks all around her. She knows that someone once considered a friend is watching her closely. But she does not hesitate, nor does she have any luxury to hesitate. She must retrieve the secrets of the ship as quickly as possible and return them to Aegir. She wishes to return to her home. She wishes to offer it to her aid, to avert calamity. She looks at the key in her hands. She swings open the door to the treasury. Meanwhile, back in Gran Faro, burning away all the Netherseed brand is no small feat. I really ought to thank kal'tsit and that jet-black creature of hers. The Netherseed brand was unable to devour this reef. How unfortunate. Yet this is but one of myriad forms. You have not heard the prophecy, so you would not understand. Prophecy? Do you think yourself more than a band of refugees clinging to unknown life forms? What sort of future did you expect? Our prophet is nothing like you. She never paints images of false future, nor does she make promises she cannot fulfill. She speaks thusly, that countless massive scales shall merge into one and fly into the vast expanse, that the ocean will be smeared with light, forever growing, never drying up, that life and death will disappear and merge into a single entity, and at the time even the false cosmos will be unable to eclipse the light of life. We shall all live in the ecosystem. We are all part of the magnificent cycle. Life is born, is given purpose, seeks worth, and disappears, only for the cycle to begin anew. Sounds a whole lot like the sort of elaborate hallucinations that can be cooked up by Originium arts. Is pushing Iberia to its current precipice and slaughtering millions of lives also part of your magnificent cycle? What do you possibly know? Our kind does not consider the death of an individual to be an end. Even when a life ends, it remains part of the cycle. You are angry, you are restless, and above all, you are only human, heretic. You won't take me alive, Inquisitor. I know all about your heinous Originium arts. We're all prepared to make the greater sacrifice. Our profit will remain as out of reach to you as time itself slipping through your fingertips. High Inquisitor, everyone in Gran Faro has long held a grudge against you people. The Penal Battalion cannot approach this place, and you are alone. It's over for you to run. Run? Did you think we came here to entertain your sophistry about good and evil? He's not saying anything. The Iberian's a damn imbecile. That black monster must have some kind of weakness. It's extremely durable and can burn the Narration brand with ease. What the hell is that thing? If you don't tell us, then by the time the Penal Battalion breaks free, we'll have already lost. You can't even handle Dr. Kal'tsit and the Inquisitor. Admit it, you've already lost. Shut up. I'm gonna make you... Wait, what are you doing? What's your staff moving around? Why is your staff moving around? What did you do? Guess you spent too much time researching tentacle monsters and you forgot what Originium arts are. Seriously, get your hands out of the clouds. You self-righteous bastard, do you think we haven't made ample preparations? Do you have any idea how long we've waited to flush out all of these scum colluding with the Inquisition? Don't fall for his tricks. He's been hiding in this town for months now. Definitely a spy, and one well-versed in communications to boot. There's not a chance. Our position has already been compromised. Spies, spies. Of course the Inquisition spies have been lurking among us since long ago. I know about your people because you never try to hide it, and Amaya and I are close. But the Inquisition is different. They already don't like us, and if they want to hide, how would we ever know? After all, we've been nothing but laborers for generations. Throw him out then and feed him to our kin. The Narration brand's growth is slowing down and we need more nutrients to stop the Penal Battalion. We should also find an escape route. Alright, I'll lead the way. Nobody's more familiar with this town than me. And we've left behind plenty of secret passages and underground depots. You shouldn't be doing this, Tiago. How long have we known each other? And now you're gonna preach to me. You platitude-spewing zealot. Stand up and walk. Time to become a part of the sea. Back on the ship. I see. A union of Originium eager technology, a sturdier dome, the use of modules from nomadic cities on land, and the scalability of Originium arts. So this is how the genius of the Academy of Sciences viewed this land, and he managed to accomplish all this decades ago. However, it's still not enough. Eager would be able to accomplish all this even without making contact with land. The interrogation of certain technologies cannot make the difference between victory and defeat. I knew it. It's you. I wish it weren't, though, Ulpianus. Stay back, take another step and I'll run you through, my old comrade in arms.
Skadi once thought herself the last of the Abyssal Hunters. Even she had thought that you dead. Yet here you are.
How insightful of you, Council Gladia.
The circumstances don't seem to call for pomp and a ceremony, Consul Ulpianus. Feeling a bit nostalgic over titles long disused, are we? We've known each other long enough. You should know very well what it means when a hunter doesn't return.
I've executed no fewer than you, and I can assure you that if any survivors have sunken into the abyss, I'd still hang them up to bake on the reefs before they ever got a chance to hear that song.
What about now? You reek of their scent. You've become one of them.
Don't lie to yourself, Gladia. You are strict with others, but even more so with yourself. Has wandering the land sufficiently satisfied your desire to torment yourself?
Hunter, I will kill you if your answer doesn't satisfy me.
Gladia, most of this situation is largely out of your hands. I'm forced to approach the problem from a different angle.
What situation?
I, like you, I have spent more time on land. But what I saw was different. Did you come to understand the civilization on land? No, you don't need to answer that, Gladia, the ever-arrogant. For their civilization to survive, they tapped into Originium. It brought them opportunity and hope, but also unprecedented calamity. To this day, they will have not fully analyzed its principles. I've witnessed many tragedies. They've given them the name catastrophes. They are foolish, ignorant, and weak, but the way they struggle and die is still harrowing. And the eager are no different.
You were never this sentimental in the past.
No, sentiment has nothing to do with this. What I'm saying is, Aegir provoked the ocean in order to survive, and the ocean devoured it in return. Then once gave birth to us. Then ocean gave birth to us. We are products of a grotesque struggle. If we aren't able to resolve this problem at its root, then we are unable to resolve it at all.
What did you see, Ulpianus? What did you see to make you abandon the bonds of blood and the camaraderie we shared in battle?
Sanctuary. No doubt that is what those filthy cultists would have called it.
Your familiarity with them only reduces my trust in you.
But the word is an apt description. You know what Aegir once found in the depths of the ocean, even if you aren't a historian, a general education should have covered at least this. Thousands of years ago, we reached the heart of the ocean. There we found the point of origin, the cradle of civilization. As far as I know, Gladia, he and the Seaborn, in the deepest recesses of their nest. I saw it, a construct. No, not even the greatest science consul of Aegir would have been able to make sense of what I saw. I was unable to go deeper as my injuries were too severe. My blood boiled, my ears rang, but still I felt.
What?
The plurality of him.
Well, that doesn't even slightly explain why you abandoned the team. You should have brought this information back.
When millions of cries returned to a single point, the unhatched Seaborn all murmured the same name from within their differently shaped sacks. Ishar Mla. Or rather, Skadi. Didn't escape into the sea. No matter. It will return, and we'll continue to wait. Whoever decided it queer, its kin. Pathetic. I see it too, the waves breaking unnaturally like a twister, or a mirage of an ocean city.
What a strange sight. It sure was lively today. Haven't had this much commotion since young Jamie and the chief died.
Pomegranate flower.
Knight, I wasn't expecting to see you back so soon. Did you come rushing to my ship because you missed the scent of your hometown? Have you gone completely mad yet? The knight simply stares at Alfonso in silence, but almost immediately his sights fixates once again upon the ocean. Alfonso follows his gaze, and through the years in which time itself has become nebulous, day and night have already lost all meaning. Are you still hunting the terrible waves? I sure hope the blood of those monsters hasn't made you immortal. You can look forward to drawing one day. What a joyous thing. Not a whole lot of wind today.
Waves are the ocean's breath. It still has not stopped breathing. It has not died. Just like the monsters on land, they devour, destroy.
The monsters on land.
Civilization.
Scotty? I just remembered something else. How did we manage to survive? How did you survive? I can't remember the details. We hacked and slashed again and again without pause until finally he... what I meant was, if they really wanted us dead back there, then wouldn't we have been able to survive? Let me put it another way. Ager doesn't know we're alive either. They have no way of knowing. Was it Swordfish who said she wanted to come to this ship? Yes, she said the ship could bring us home. This does to be Ager craftsmanship, though the shipwright Breogan, the name doesn't ring a bell. You never did remember scientists' names. Do you? It's such a relief, even talking to you like this. Are you back for good, Laurentina? You won't leave us again, will you? Do you have to be so cheesy about it? I've also been with you. Things just got a bit blurry in the middle there. Plus, it's kinda fun playing the part of a well-behaved nun. Oh, but the captain had this outfit specially made for me by our friends over at Rhode Island. She already knew my measurements even. To be honest, you grew a bit taller. Wait, how do you know that? I was only helping out. The captain said she didn't trust the tastes of the landwalkers. Tastes? We both know that's the last thing she cares about. Though at least I can appreciate how she always makes sure these things are in place. She said you like long dresses, and I did always have that impression, but I rarely do these tailoring activities. And these symbols, they're Iberian letters. We wrote them together. They talk about you, about Gladia, about me, about Ager, our home. Whose idea was this? Couldn't have been mine, right? We all came up with it together. What about the style? Swordfish picked it. How unlike her. We have to dedicate ourselves to battle. Sure, but no reason I can't doll myself up before the hunt, right? Scotty, do you know what the first thought was when I emerged from my stupor and remembered who I am? What? It was to re-examine myself, to see how different I was from that clear but distant memory of myself on the other side of the shore. Though I was dressed as a good little nun last time, I didn't particularly mind. But now that my trusty companions have chosen my outfit for me, that makes me even happier. Can you understand how I feel? Definitely better than when you woke up in a jar in Salviento. That's for sure. So, that's why we're going to win over Mr. Captain right now, yes? Leave it to me. No, impossible.
Isharbla. When I sank into the trenches along with the Titan's corpse, enduring a pressure that no ordinary eager could bear, I saw something I'd never seen before. Gladia, you know why Eager distances itself from the land. You know the many theorems as to why genuine catastrophes cannot invade us. Most of them have been proven correct. The ocean is like a petri dish, nourishing and protecting the purity of Eager. But what if the civilization we're so proud of is nothing more than the mold growing on the back of some giant?
You were always exceptionally inquisitive, a quality that allowed you to make contributions in various fields, sowing the seeds of great breakthroughs. But Slender Eager, you've changed so much I hardly recognize you. Plus, you should know the boundaries of what is appropriate. Your speculation about Skadi, you levied the cruelest of accusations against your fellow hunter.
Seaborn is just a broad catch-all name. As you know, their morphology is significantly more complex. You've been concerned that Skadi might become an even higher form of them, have you not?
First and foremost, I'm concerned that you've chosen the wrong path.
The first company and the fourth company perished along the way, one after another, to create an opportunity for us to break through. And you, the second company, stayed near the nest's entrance. It seems wrong to even describe it as a nest. We'd entered a vast singular entity, where we nothing more than tiny germs.
But germs are more than capable of killing a healthy person.
And we were successful, or we led ourselves to believe. I simply fell into a deep sleep along with his corpse. Blood, if that luminous substance can even be called that, had drenched my whole body and even enveloped me. But I simply slumbered with his corpse for a long, long time. I hid in the crevices of his empty shell, leaning against the remnants of his flesh, until all sounds around me fell silent. But what about Scally? It was she who dealt the final blow. That was not a normal killing, nor was it a hunt. It was feeding, a feeding of their kind. Your conjecture is both correct and faulty. Did you assume that all hunters will eventually lose control and become seaborn? No, not Scotty. You already understand. Those who witnessed him, those of us who sank into the trenches and floated back up, all understand.
You mean to say that?
If anything goes wrong, we must kill her.
She's your hunter. You still haven't offered an explanation for your deliberate cover-up and betrayal, and you would have me trust your speculation like this? I'm not keen on your habit of staying silent. Maybe I'll have to take away your mobility and drag you back to Ager. A pity that one of your consuls might finally fall in battle. Pardon. A pity that one of our consuls might finally fall in battle. Could harm morale.
Let's see you try. Gladia, how can you still claim to represent Ager when you are so distraught about your own transformation? This is an opportunity. I don't expect your assistance or even understanding, but some of us cannot afford to pass up this opportunity. Only by uncovering the truth do we have a chance at survival.
And how is that related to what you're doing?
You came for the ship. I came for Breogan. I've already made a breakthrough. Breogan's evidence corroborates what I've seen. Truly an amazing man.
To think he arrived at the same conclusions in that era under those conditions. Those by your side, you already understand that only they are truly valuable. None of the land dwellers will ever understand, and thus he died in solitude.
I wouldn't say that nobody understands, but
for someone as strong as resolute as yourself, how many times have you said but? We are colleagues. Together we were the architects of this war. We should trust in each other more. A final word of advice. Don't return to Ager. It is too soon, too dangerous. Too many things haven't straightened out. Going back now is wasted effort, and you do not know what has become of it. Remain on land. Should something happen, of course, she is my hunter. I will shoulder the responsibility. Gladia wants to say something else, but when she turns her head, a tremendous cracking sound spreads through every corner of the room. A violent shuddering follows, and the truth filling the table is scattered across the ground, seeming to sear her vision. Leviathan. Before the chief designer of warfare proposed the Abyssal Hunter plan, before the Abyssal Hunters delved into their nest, Breogan chose a title that the foolish land dwellers are obsessed with to this day. He wanted to thoroughly elucidate the nature of calamities. He found the last piece of the puzzle on land.
My key. The smell of wheat. Homeland. My homeland supports me. My family supports me. Until I crush the ocean.
The two hunters look at the brooding night. Gladia clenches the key in her hand. Then take a look at this monster. Take a good look. He appears human, but is not human. Even the ocean skin reject him. Day in and day out, he searches for the terrible waves and seeks to quash them. An endless, futile pursuit. Just like us. And this is where we will end for today. We're just quickly gonna go over the log entry for this final part, which is, well, the current last one I'm looking at pursuing the fleeing Seaborn. By that I mean log entry number 5. Actually, is it 5? Yeah, it is 5. It says here, hatred drives Thiago to take vengeance on the Inquisition. Hatred blinds Gladia to the opportunity in front of her, and she parts ways with Ulpianus. However, beneath, their hatred is a burning desire to protect one's home and duty. And we also get the picture that you just saw, which is the picture. And I love, first off, it's called Hunter x Hunter. And on top of it, this is so JoJo. Are you approaching me? Anyway, it says here, comrades in arms, old friends, enemies. Before all this, they were simply survivors. And yeah, I saw this picture and I immediately started laughing. This is such a reference. It is cool though. It is so freaking cool. I love everything about this picture. The golden light, the silhouette of Ulpianus, a bit just barely visible in detail in the back, and then Gladia just marching forward towards him. It's so cool. Anyway, yeah, this is where we will end in. The Silver Landslide is back, baby. I love it. I fucking cheered when the guy appeared. That was an event for me. I was so happy to see him back. I thought he was gone. I thought we would not see this guy again until some maybe future installment in this side story series, but fuck yeah, He back! Anyway, this will be the final section for today. And next time we will continue from the main bridge and wherever this leads. And obviously we'll finish the last flagship and continue onwards to whatever this is. I can only spot the name Nameless in there. Also, I want to say here, and I'm going to repeat this on further installments as well, considering that I can already tell that this is the ES section, I will see if there is no story in here. I will not do it after I finish this completely, but this one here, and I can only spot the word reflection on top there. If this that opens up way later is like an extra epilogue or something, like extra scenes or whatever the fuck, I will compile them all into probably one episode. If it's just one scene or whatever, cool, that's just gonna be one upload. But if it's several scenes, like for example the Neural Light event had several separate epilogues that unlocked way later for a couple of people, this time around I will compile them into a single episode and upload them when they unlock. But for now, like I said, this is it. Well, I had some fun voicing people today and creatures. Question mark? Anyway, as always, I hope you have a fantastic day. Wish you the best of luck if you're still pulling on the current banner, and I will see you in the next part. Until then, bye bye.